Hi, happy Monday. I hope you're having a good day. I'm sorry I'm not in there in person with you. I totally forgot I had a doctor's appointment tomorrow, just today for you, during the day. So, but I hope it's wonderful and I'm going to explain everything that you need to do. Okay. So, first of all, if you're watching this, good, everybody should. This is for group A in person. This is for group C at home. And even if you're watching this in group B, great, get started. So no worries about that. Okay. So last week I told you about an assignment. We kind of launched and talked about the new project coming up that you're going to begin in a couple of different ways today. And this project is called How Can We Repair Harm? And what I showed you last Friday, if you remember, I showed you kind of the basics and the end product. So I showed you what you have to have in your presentation. You're going to be doing a slideshow or another format of presentation, right? And you have to include pathos, ethos, and logos in that presentation. And I showed you a video that two students worked together on, and then I showed you a slideshow. You didn't get a chance, probably, unless you just did it on your own, to go through that entire slideshow. And I would, if I were you, because those are two examples of the finished product, the final product, right? Those are two examples of what you're going to present at the end of this, which maybe this Thursday, but more than likely will end up being Monday, because it should take a little bit of time. So let me backtrack and explain. So on Friday, we talked about that and we looked at the questions that you were going to have to answer. And then I showed you some example situations. And your only job over the weekend was to really narrow down and decide what specific harm you were going to discuss. And it needs to be a very specific situation. I had told some people, like, no, I think it's okay if it's a little bit general. But the more that I started thinking about it and started looking at some things that were already turned in, I realized that does not work. So I need you to find a very specific situation. And I'm going to give you an example, right? Some of you might have been like, I want to talk about bad teachers. Now, instead of just bad teachers, one specific example would be this the recorded example that we watched of a teacher like verbally assaulting her students and like ripping up their paper, sending the girl to the quiet corner, all of that, shaming everybody. So when you have your topic, I do want you to find a very specific example. You're eventually going to be talking in general, but I need you to start with that specific story. And I apologize for like leading you astray there for a second. So what you're going to do today is you are supposed to come in with a very specific, situation. And now you're going to do a little bit of research on that situation to give you some understanding and knowledge before you even begin to answer these questions and think about how you're going to present your answers to those questions, right? And remember, this student example of the YouTube video and Megan's example of this beautiful PowerPoint, these are examples of that final product. So that's eventually what you're going to be doing. So today we're just you're getting some background. So here are the questions that you're going to answer. And I'm going to tell you about them using, pretending like my example that I'm talking about is this one that we just referenced, the bad elementary teacher. Okay. So the first question says, I've decided to research and find out more about, and then it says in a few sentences, explain your topic and what specific harm you'll analyze. So for this, I would say, my topic is teacher like verbal abuse and the impact and the harm that has on students. And I'm going to specifically use this incident that happened in 2014 where a teacher in a circle of first graders, and then I would go on and explain what happened and like about that specific incident. Okay, that's question one. So question two is, why did I choose this specific example or this topic? Why does it interest you? So for me, I would say, well, I think it's really interesting because I think power is an interesting um, thing, and watching this dynamic between student and teachers at such a young age play out in such a negative way is interesting to me. It's very sad, and it like I wonder what kind of people that creates. And so that's why it would interest me. And I would write a couple of sentences about that here. Okay, so the next part, there's 3 more questions to go. Ooh, that should say 3, 4, 5. Good eye. Okay. So on the next part, here's what you're going to do. So now you're going to do a little bit of research. You need to. That's going to be the most valid way to do this. So it says now you're going to research more about your harm. Find 3 articles, videos, etc. about the specific incident or topic. Read, watch each of them, and give a summary of the content and how you use it in your presentation. Make sure you include the link to the article and video. So, for me, for my specific example that I'm using, I think I would try first to like find out her name. And I would try that way. But then I would start looking at some different things. So I would look at Success Academy, right? And I would see if Success Academy had any issues going on. Ooh, look at this. Controversial charter. So I'd find some articles that like I think are actually going to help me understand this situation, right? Understand all sides of the situation and like what the harm is. So this looks like it's like a cute little video. Probably not cute. It's probably not cute. Oh dear, they got a lot of stuff going on there. They sure do. So this would be a perfect example, clearly, from some of this mess we got going on here. So this is about that school, that exact school that I was talking about, Success Academy. Okay, so like that would be a good piece of research. Maybe I would find another piece, right? Ooh, this one looks good. They're the highest performing and most criticized. Interesting. Actually, that seems like a good one because I feel like that was that teacher's issue. Like she was like, "No mistakes." And like I wonder if that intensity and that comes along with a high performing institution did this or helped enable this harm. So I'm going to read some of those articles, right? I just found 2 with like one Google search. Okay. Maybe you research just the thing. Maybe you research the topic in general. Like maybe I didn't find a lot there. Now I'm going to search like impacts of mean teachers, right? Like you are very wise in your Google searching, hopefully. And so this will be not a difficult step. So what you're going to do then is you're going to tell me about those 3 and how you're going to use it. Like, what did it teach you, basically? So it says now you're going to research about your harm, find 3 articles or videos, read each of them or watch them, and give a summary of the content, right? Just a little summary, probably 3 to 5 sentences about what it was about. What did you learn? And how are you going to use that in your presentation? Also, make sure you include the link to that. So there's kind of 3 things. You're going to put the link, summarize it, and tell me how you're going to use it. So for example, when I'm looking at who is involved in this harm and who might have contributed to this harm, if I read those articles about how that charter school, like the admin, the district, whoever created this charter school, the ideas behind it, I would assume that all of those things really contributed to the harm and that my knowledge, like by researching all that information, is going to be expanded and I'd be able to really fully give an answer to this. Okay. because eventually I'm going to have to be able to answer these 7 questions in like an elaborate presentation that takes around 4 minutes and I feel very confident about, right? And I don't want you to feel confident unless you have done some research. I want you to be confident because you like know what you're actually talking about. Okay? So that is your assignment today. All you have to do today, right? Some of you guys like went really far and like answered the questions early. Don't do that. It's okay if you did because like that it can't hurt, but you're gonna have to do more. So today, do this. Read 3 articles, summarize them. Tell me what you learned. Now, if you've done all that and you think you're ready to start fully answering these questions, now what I mean by fully is like fully, paragraph or so for each, maybe even more, right? Um, if you're fully ready to start that after this, go for it. But don't do anything that you think is final because I can promise you it won't be. Don't be mad. I love you. Okay, so have a beautiful day. Answer these 5 questions based on your very specific incident that you're going to research. Turn this in. If you have any questions, I'm going to be like grading and checking email today. So feel free to email me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Right? Have a great day. Be very nice to your substitute. Tell them you appreciate them. Okay. Love you. See you soon.